In the year since his failed coup in Munich, Adolf Hitler has transformed himself from violent revolutionary to national hero. Despite being sent to jail for trying to overthrow the German Weimar government, on a wave of newfound popularity, he's turned his prison stay into a PR offensive. And he's written a book which he believes will pass on his message to the German people. Now, after serving just 9 months of a 5-year sentence, the 35-year-old is being released. But if he expected a horde of well-wishers at the gates, he doesn't get them. Instead, there's only a car to meet him. The reason? Germany is booming. The democratic government has borrowed billions from overseas to pay its war debts. Now the country's growing fat on foreign money, particularly from the United States.
The mid-1920s are very much the golden years of the Weimar Republic.
The Americans give them a vast range of loans, and because of this, Germany revives. The German economy improves dramatically enough for the Weimar democratic government to look like it's starting to work.
At last, it seems like the days of suffering are over.
It's very much seen as a period of new beginning. After the turbulence of the hyperinflation, things are looking up. People are broadly happy with the political system as long as it delivers the goods, as long as it delivers growth and stability.
But for Hitler, all this prosperity is disastrous. No one wants to hear from a radical revolutionary party, particularly one that wants to seize power by force. Worse still, as punishment for the beer hall putsch, Hitler's been banned from public speaking. There's even talk of deporting him back to his native Austria. And that isn't the end of the bad news. The Nazi Party's in a state of collapse. Hitler's trusted friend and right-hand man, Hermann Göring, has become hooked on drugs. Shot and injured during the beer hall putsch, Göring had escaped capture. But hospitalized in Austria, he's given morphine for his pain. In the coming months, this develops into a serious morphine addiction. Meanwhile, the party newspaper is closed down by order of the state. Nazi Party membership that had reached 55,000 in 1923 now collapses by more than half. And in the elections of December 1924, the Nazis are routed, taking just 3% of the vote. The party's been hit hard by Hitler's absence and by a sea change in public opinion.
It was a natural decline, really. If the man who made the party what it was, if he's not there, it's bound to go to some decline. Then if we add to that the economic recovery, then Nazism didn't have that strong appeal that it had prior to the putsch.
Even more humiliating, when Mein Kampf, Hitler's autobiographical manifesto, is published, it's a commercial flop. It sells only 10,000 copies. Not even every Nazi buys one. For Hitler, this is a crisis moment. His party's on the verge of extinction. If he's to turn things around, something's going to have to change.
Hitler made the decision that from here on the Nazis must no longer be a revolutionary, violent party. They must adopt the forms of legalism. They must stand in elections. They must go through the motions of being a democratic parliamentary party.
Hitler decrees that the Nazi Party will be relaunched. It will be reputable and democratic, seeking power not through violence, but by winning seats in the German parliament, the Reichstag.
He wanted to put on the coat of respectability and become, at least on the surface, a respectable parliamentarian without being any of those things.
Behind closed doors, Hitler tells his inner circle,
We shall have to hold our noses and enter the Reichstag. If outvoting them takes longer than outshooting them, at least the results will be guaranteed by their own constitution. Sooner or later, we shall have majority. And after that, we shall have Germany.
Now Hitler starts to develop the tactics that will ultimately propel his party to power. Outwardly, he and the Nazis will present a veneer of respectability, while inwardly sticking to their violent and extremist plans. First up for the party makeover will be Hitler himself.